Hey guys, Wave Nunnally here with Bible Unplugged, and I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about the Jewish or the Israeli observance of Tu B'Shvat. It's a modern holiday that refers to a special day of the year, the 15th of the Jewish month of Shuvot, that is used in Israel for the planting of trees. You know, back in the middle 1800s, Mark Twain, everybody knows who Mark Twain is, right? Samuel Clemens journeyed all over the world, and a part of that journey was through the land of Israel. And he makes this famous statement that in the whole land of Israel, he was unable to find even one shade tree to rest under. Well, in the middle 1800s, that may have been true. It was difficult times for that part of the world. But between the years 1901, when the modern Zionist movement began, and 1948, when Israel became an independent nation, more than 4.5 million trees had been planted. And today, in the land of Israel, over 200 million trees thrive within the borders of modern Israel. So why would that be? How is this even possible that a barren land could be reclaimed to the tune of more than 200 million trees? I think that it comes from the biblical concept of repairing nature. In Hebrew, it's referred to as tikkun olam. And the Israelite people, Jewish people, have taken on this attitude that creation was originally good. There are still good elements of creation, and as members of that creation, we have as part of our responsibility to do everything within our power to improve it in our time here on earth. But I guess in a way, that still leaves on the table the question of, but trees? Why trees? Why Tu B'Shvat, the day of the calendar in Israel when there's this big emphasis on the planting of trees? Why trees? Well, some years ago, I did a two-part series, as I recall, on God the Original Greenie. And I talked about how it appears from Scripture that this is such a part of the nature of God that it ends up showing up all over the place in Scripture. For an example, starting at the beginning, God creates, and He creates a garden, green, a garden of Eden. And that garden is described. It has all kinds of rivers, water, plentiful, flowing through it. And because of that, there's all kinds of trees and other vegetation and the production of fruit and the like. And so this whole, idea of God placing man in a biosphere, it starts out in a garden. That was God's original intent. That was the way He intended us to originally dwell. Fast forward thousands of years to Moses' time. And in the Torah, the law of Moses, God speaks through Moses to the Israelites, and He says things like this: I'm taking you through the wilderness, and I'm going to bring you into a promised land. There you'll be responsible to conquer and settle it. And it says in the book of Deuteronomy, when you besiege a city for a long time, and you make war against it in order to capture it, you shall not destroy its trees by swinging an axe against them. For you may eat from them, and you shall not cut them down. For is the tree of the field a man, that it should be besieged by you? In other words, God is saying this should be an eco-friendly situation between you and nature. And you shouldn't attack nature. It's there to be a blessing to you. Fast forward all the way to the end of time, and the Hebrew prophets speak of this incredible future that we have that will have trees in it. Ezekiel 47 says that there's going to be this end-time river that flows out from under the temple in Jerusalem and flows toward the east through the Judean wilderness or desert. And there, trees are going to grow on either side of this end time river and produce fruit and produce leaves. And the fruit is going to be for food and the leaves are going to be for the healing of the nations. It's an incredible picture of God restoring His created order back to its pristine beauty and glory. Isaiah 66 talks about there's going to be a new heavens and a new earth. In other words, these prophets are saying there's going to be a return to Eden, to that Edenic ideal that God originally intended. He hasn't forgotten it. It's still a part of His plan, and He has the power and the plan to put this back right. In the meantime, though, between Eden and the new heavens and the new earth, I want to encourage you. I'm encouraging myself. Let's take this moment in Israel's observance of Tu B'Shvat, the day of the planting of trees in the land of Israel. Let's take this opportunity that Tu B'Shvat affords us to ask ourselves the question, in what ways can you and I be engaged in actions of tikkun olam? Well, we're told in the same Bible that if you give a cup of cold water to someone in need, you don't lose your reward. We're encouraged to visit widows and orphans in their affliction. We're encouraged to give words of encouragement to those who are flagging and discouraged in life. Every time we do these kinds of things, every time we reach out to other, we are engaged in tikkun olam, in repairing the world. And in that way, we take part in, we join hands with the very God whose plan it is to renew and to restore all things. God bless.